Hi there. It is Wisdom Wednesday. I'm here to share some wisdom from She Serves Healed. I had a wonderful weekend. At our church Saturday, we had a workshop that was wonderful. It was about disc assessment, personality assessment in regards to communication and how you communicate as a leader and how others communicate and how you can best leverage that information to improve communication. We also talked about onboarding for leaders and succession planning. It was an awesome event. So, what I want to talk about today is leadership, but more specifically, affirmation. Because when you're doing things you've never done before, when you're like navigating, it's like navigating uncharted territory, when there's like no blueprint and no reference point, it can feel scary, a little risky. And so it can make you question yourself. You start to ask questions like, am I doing this right? Am I landing the way that I intended? Am I having the impact that I thought I would? So those are some of the questions you may ask. And that's why I always talk about healing first before leading. And that's why I created She Serves Healed. Because I had to come to a very honest realization. One, a long time ago, I had not healed. Two, I needed to heal. And three, it was my responsibility to do the work. Even though I felt that I had been wrong, even though I had been hurt, and even though I had experienced some very traumatic experiences, none of that gave me an excuse to avoid ownership of my healing. So I went through a long, intentional process: counseling, self-awareness, taking action, setting boundaries, and healing. It cleared away the mess. It cleared away the past, the trauma, the unresolved issues I had. And it allowed me to discover who I am without baggage, without survival mode, without constantly reacting to what was happening around me. And underneath all of that, I found clarity and I found my passion. I found my voice, actually. And I found the beautiful parts of myself that were formed because of my story, not in spite of it. And that was important. That clarity is what gave birth to She Serves Healed. It was. Now, you don't have to fully heal to lead, but your full capacity ignites when you recognize your triggers. You do the work and understand that your journey isn't just for you. Your healing becomes a witness. Your story becomes a tool. And what you've overcome becomes something that can empower others. And that brings me back to affirmation. So recently I noticed self-doubt has started creeping in about some of the things I had been working on, wondering if I was really making the impact that I wanted. Not because the work wasn't good and not because the impact wasn't there, but because I was looking just for affirmation in all the wrong places. I was looking outward instead of inward. Sometimes when people go quiet or your posts don't get the engagement or when accomplishments are not acknowledged, when critics get louder, the moment you elevate, it makes you kind of question yourself. That voice tries to say, like, who do you think you are? And are you sure that you're called to do what you're doing? So I asked myself, what do I do when affirmation feels absent? And the answer was simple. I turn inward. Take care of myself, I stay gentle with myself, and I keep excelling. Because what God has placed in me flows. It doesn't stress me, and it doesn't confuse me. Honestly, it comes naturally. All the things that I've been doing and developing. Now that's alignment. And here's the real reason, or the real lesson. Affirmation doesn't always look like applause. Sometimes it looks like opportunity. It looks like someone saying, I haven't seen you do this before, but I trust you to try. And giving you the space to step in and try it. Sometimes affirmation looks like trust. It looks like someone being willing to loosen the reins and giving you the opportunity to steer the reins. even when they know they could do it, but they give you an opportunity to show up and show out. That's servant leadership. That's confidence without control. Sometimes affirmation looks like investment, and investment isn't always loud. It looks like someone taking time to say, hey, this is strong, but here's how you can improve. This is good, but this is how you can even make it better. That's not criticism. That's care. That's belief that someone's seeing your potential and respecting it enough to help you grow. Sometimes affirmation comes from truth tellers, people who don't flatter, people who don't compete, people who just tell it to you like it is, and they're not threatened by your growth. They don't need to clap for you publicly. Their affirmation shows up in honesty, access, guidance, and consistency. And if you're only looking for affirmation through applause, you will miss the people who are actually for you. Because affirmation doesn't always show up in likes. It doesn't always show up in comments. It doesn't always show up when you expect it. Sometimes it shows up quietly through trust, through opportunity, through honest feedback, through someone investing their time in you. So here's what I want you to remember. Stop chasing applause. Pay attention to who affirms you. Pay attention to who trusts you. Pay attention to who gives you room to grow. Affirmation, approval, and clarity may not come in the way that you imagine. It may not be loud. It may not be public. It may not be immediate. But it will come. And when it does, it will serve as your North Star, leading you to the people and the moments that keep you grounded, aligned, and moving forward. She Serves Healed exists to create whole women leaders, women who can show up as their authentic selves, lead with clarity, and serve without shrinking or performing. This message is from She Serves Healed. Have a great day.